in Harare, Zimbabwe, Effort Musekiwa. Effort, let's talk about this latest case. Perhaps any information coming out around the pre-existing condition?
Yes, indeed. The health minister earlier on did confirm that Makamba had a pre-existing condition which made him susceptible or more at risk of contracting the COVID-19 and also more at risk of, suffering the worst or if he had contracted the disease. This happened just a few hours ago where the Minister of Health was receiving medical equipment. He also indicated that the nation should not panic at this moment, but we should continue to remain calm, and the health authorities are busy trying to make sure that everyone who was in contact with Zororo it gets tested or is assessed whether they do have the COVID-19 or not. But at the moment he's calling for calm. He also said we needed to the nation needed to observe some respect, because this is the first case, like you did indicate, that it's the first case in Southern Africa. So there was a moment of silence that was observed during the gathering in honor of Zororo.
I'm just curious if Effort, I see that there seem to be conflicting reports about who exactly has died, because if you look at other news media, they seem to mention some Obdia Moyo, and obviously, as we know, that this is Zororo Makamba who has succumbed to the coronavirus infection. Have you heard of these conflicting reports, and why do you think there is?
Well, I have not heard of the reports, but from the names that you have just mentioned, Obadiah Moyo is the Minister of Health in Zimbabwe. So he's the one who actually confirmed the passing on of Zororo Makamba. So I wouldn't know. I haven't had reports of any other death, but the only death that has been confirmed by the minister, who is Obadiah Moyo, is that of Zororo Makamba.
Okay, I'm glad you clarified that, because it seems some international media are reporting that it's Obadiah Moyo who is, as you say, in fact, the health minister. Government's response to this, as we mentioned, pre-existing condition. I'm sure there are people who may have some and wondering if they're more susceptible to, a fatal coronavirus infection.
Well, the response, surprisingly, today there was, a massive exercise that they were doing at the one of the central hospitals in Harare, where everyone who was walking through or who was getting into that hospital had to be interviewed. When they were saying they were doing a pre-screening for everyone. It didn't matter whether you were ill, whether you were coming in to visit your relatives, even if you were coming in an ambulance, you had to get your temperature checked. They had to record your travel history. They had to ask you questions whether you're suffering from any chest pains, difficulties to breathe, anything. They were just screening each and everyone, including officials from government officials, even from the United Nations, World Health Organizations, were screened at the point of entry. So they've increased their activities. They've actually made sure that right now they are proactive and not having to wait for more cases to come, but they've actually begun screening people across the country.
There obviously is a travel ban in place to ensure that the spread of the coronavirus, COVID-19, is limited. But there also were media reports expressing concern and indeed surprise that President Emerson Mnangagwa seemed to defy his own travel ban and traveled to Namibia for the inauguration of his counterpart, Hage Geingob.
Yes, indeed. There was a lot of anger from many Zimbabweans expressing that, the president should lead by example. He should not have traveled for the inauguration. I think this is the second time in a few days where the restrictions that President Emmerson Mnangagwa announced, he himself has violated. The first one was the day that he announced that public gatherings of more than 100 people were banned. The following day, he was seen in Manicaland attending a rally that had more than 100 people gathered at that rally. And in defense, he said that the ban was only coming into effect the day after that. And people thought maybe it was a misunderstanding between the announcement and what he meant. Then secondly, he then went on this visit or this inauguration where he traveled. Again, people are saying, why did he travel? Now we are also getting reports that the president of Botswana has put himself under self-isolation after that trip. And people were hoping that the Zimbabwean president was going to follow suit and also announce that he was also putting himself under self-isolation, but we have not received or we have not heard anything along those lines from either his office or the president himself. So people, if you speak to most people on the streets, they are very, they're saying that how can we take the president serious when he's not taking his own restrictions or his own measures seriously?